and he got an earthworm. He held it over my head. I don't like wiggling earthworms. He held it over my head. He chased me through that house. That's how I learned to win the races at school. I had to outrun Charles. Anyway, Yulee would sit in the chair while they were playing the fiddles, and he would write his name in the wood. Every piece of wooden furniture that was set in, there was going to be Y.R. Michael. Now, Daddy's Raymond Yulee, and he was Y.R. It was Y.R.M. And I bet every desk all the way through school had his name on it. Did he write it in your house? I bet he didn't. Anyway, Yulee was a sweetheart, but he was going to also be like Annie Claire. He was going to win all the battles for us. Charles went to get his hair done. Y'all listen. I'm not going to tell this twice. Charles went to get his hair cut. Crowder's, I guess the place was, on Bay Street. Hey, Charles. Anyway, and he went into Crowder's, and it was full. It was always full of people, of men, to get their hair cut. And this one darn man butted ahead Charles. When Yulee jumped up in his lap, Yulee's knee-high to a grasshopper. He's not as tall as Charles, and this was when they were in I guess before he got the teens. He grabbed that man by his tie, and he said, "Get out of that chair, it's my brother's turn. Do you hear me?" And the man got up out of the chair, and Charles had his hair cut. Mama had told me, "Becca, who used to put your babe on you?" Oh, well, I'm going to get back to that when I get to me. Now, when I get to me. I did all of her. When I get to me, I got to tell a little something for me. Okay.
It's your turn.
George, shut up. Anyway, so they're liking it. You may not be. But anyhow, they got to learn about our family. It is important because we came from two of the finest people. And they were very religious, very kind. My mother carried the switch. My father never did switches, but he would pop you with his fiddle bow. He never did me, he did Annie Claire, and she cried for I don't know how many days. I sat down on the front, coming down the stairs when I was a child, and I was in my slip. I was a little over being a child. My father happened to come through the front door, and he looked up the stairs, and he said, this is how my father was. "Hun, babe, we don't come downstairs in there." And I mean, I didn't realize I had not put my robe on. I was in a hurry for some reason, and we never ran around not dressed. We were never vulgar people or anything. And we weren't allowed to, well, anyway. And we didn't run around in front of the boys in anything called our house clothes, our nightgowns, anything. We didn't. We just didn't. And I don't think I saw my brothers too much without a shirt. And so then, let's see now, where am I? Okay, I'm at Marshall. Yay! Well, I am the 8th child of 12. Hard to believe, I told y'all that. And anyway, when I was born, I was 4 pounds. And back then, you know, children, it was hard to keep a child alive at 4 pounds, I guess. And they could slide me in a small, I guess about that size, not the big size, oatmeal box. Mama told me all this, they've heard it. And anyway, I was spoiled rotten. They didn't have Wheezy till like 3 years later, so I got built big and small. And we lived on the river, and down in Manman, and I would go up to the front door. I would take back then in those days, you had a hook, you screwed it in the door. You had a screw thing, an iron, and you stuck your hook in here like that, and that kept the door closed. You didn't lock doors, but you would do that. And I would go up to it, and I'd kick it with my foot, and it would come unlocked, and I'd go swimming. And Mama said I could swim like a fish. Well, I couldn't years later. We moved away from the water. But anyhow, then they would started putting that hook up higher. And I started getting something to climb up. So when we moved from there, I was still getting whippings. When Louise was born, oh, and they said that I could pout. I want everything my way. And that I could carry a rooster out on my lip when I pouted. And I was going to tell you how it was. Kind of sweet. Anyway, so then,
Where's your turn?
no, George, she's going to tell something really interesting.